Bigotry is a wide umbrella and it covers all aspects of your belief. You can be a religious bigot who often makes fun of anything liberal, or you can be a liberal who makes fun of religions. In India, specifically, make fun of Hindus because that's safe and convenient. Now, this bigotry in both the cases is as hurtful to a democratic republic like ours as it can possibly get. The recent controversy regarding Delhi Riot 2020 book publication by a self-proclaimed international liberal publication house called Bloomsbury brings the often neglected issue of left bigotry to the surface. Lately, we have seen, since independence, states banning a particular type of publication offending Hindus or Muslims, be it the prohibition of the publication of Rangila Rasool in 1927 by the British government, where the author was later killed by a Muslim fanatic, or the prohibition of 9 Hours to Rama by Stanley Woolpert, that was banned for citing the reasoning of Godse for killing Gandhi, and states' security lapses that led to the death of Gandhi, or be it the satanic verses by Salman Rushdie that antagonized Muslim fanatics and fatwas were passed against him, or be it the book called The Hindu by Wendy Doniger that offended the Hindu extremists. All these were published by their publication houses, but the state banned these books following public agitation and violence. In case if you have started having a sympathetic space for the right or the left, then hang on for a moment, because both the sides have their fair share in this intellectual intolerance. The right wing protested to a great length against the publication of several books. Some of those books were written by the authors from the right lean itself, like Jaswant Singh's book on Jinnah that got banned in Gujarat, or be it the Taslima Nasreen's book that was banned in West Bengal by the hardcore communist government, or be it the alleged champion of free speech in India, Pandit Nehru, who banned Stephen Woolpert's 9 Hours to Rama. All the corners of the political spectrum exercised their fair share of intellectual intolerance and corruption, be it the right wing or the self-attested Congress or the communist left. But this might well be the first case where an independent publication house itself backed off because of the backlash it received from the authors from the left ecosystem. The left ecosystem that had long fooled India and Indians with the adjective liberal that they frankly don't deserve at all, as they are as intellectually intolerant as anything and any other religious fanatic. Let me give you another food for thought. When a book is taken up by a publication house or for publishing it, its core team of editors sail through the book very cautiously so that nothing inappropriate comes along. And when you are such a reputed left-leaning publication house like Bloomsbury, who was about to release a book from the right orientation, you were even more cautious, right? So if you allowed it to be published, then it clearly means that your core editor's team did not find anything worth condemning, right? But suddenly, they started receiving threat calls of backing out from Bloomsbury publication by the self-proclaimed liberals like William Dalrymple or Atish Tasir. And the publication house just simply gave in, as these authors are very much celebrated by the left intelligentsia. And these self-attested liberals are the same brigade that cries out loud when the right does something of this sort, isn't it? When Wendy Doniger's book, The Hindus, was about to be launched by the Penguin publication, then the extreme right protested against its release and Penguin had to back out. And the same self-proclaimed liberals criticized Penguin for stooping to the pressure of the right. And now when the right came with a controversial but a relevant book that the creative team at Bloomsbury found worthy of publishing, then the left intellectuals came out to quash the publication of that book. You may not like the content of a book, but this cancel culture, be it the right or the left, be it by the left or the left, is malefic for a democratic republic, because every time somebody would pop up and just simply say, I object, my lord, and you cannot listen to and pay heed to each and every objections that come along, right? Now, where is this bloody freedom of speech debate? have the left psychopaths taken it up their ass? This intellectual intolerance was brought into existence by the Abrahamic faiths and later adopted by the communists and fascists. And now the Hindu fringe adopted this sacred practice from their fellow Abrahamic and communist brethren. Folks, the only thing that makes a person liberal is its spirit of tolerance of other person's opinions, views, beliefs, and social practices, even though you may not like or subscribe to them. And if you start putting exception to the spirit of tolerance and only listen to what you want to, then you have reduced yourself down to the philosophy of bigotry. Traditionally, India has always been an open society, always ready for debate and dialogue. When Buddha challenged the Vedic system and rituals, or when Jainism questioned the Vedic system, or when Charvak philosophy discarded all philosophies altogether of Buddha, Vedic or Jainism and adopted atheism, they were not just tolerated but accepted in the same folder of society as enlightened beings. Can you find out any violent critic of Buddha or Mahavir Jain at that time? Can you name one author who was contemporary of Buddha and criticized him for his core beliefs in his philosophy and his criticism of Vedic practices? Chanakya existed around the same period, but even he did not mention, he did not criticize Buddha. When Bhakti movement grew stronger, lots of saints challenged the contemporary beliefs and practices like Kabir, Guru Nanak, Ravidas, Sant Tukaram, Sant Gyaneshwar, Mirabai. How many of these people were killed by Hindus for propagating their beliefs? They were rather cherished. On the other hand, Islamic rulers had our gurus executed and had those temples razed to the ground, had a golden temple filled with cow blood and had prostitutes dance all over the temple just to defile the sanctity of the golden temple, had Guru Arjan Dev Ji's dead body wrapped in a cow skin to defile it, and this was proudly recorded in the Jahangir's memoir itself. These intolerances were the part and parcel of the Brahmic religions, not of the Indic faiths. In Indic faith, such intolerances were an exception. But in Abrahamic religions, such intellectual intolerance and intellectual terrorism is a rule, a thumb rule. Leftist authors protested for the release of a movie called Padmavat, that they hailed as acute expression of freedom of speech and expression guaranteed by the Article 19. But they stopped short when Salman Rushdie was stopped from making an appearance at Jaipur Literature Festival. Then nobody's freedom of speech was violated. Nobody felt threatened. Ramdev was stopped from making a public appearance in an eminent university. And the last hotbed of the left, the JNU, he was stopped by the same left mafia. But they can organize free Kashmir seminars and publicly celebrate terrorists. Padmavat movie deserved to be released as much as Salman Rushdie or Taslima Nasreen deserves to make an appearance in a lit fest. This very well show the hypocrisy of the left. Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru and Dr. Ambedkar could push for Hindu Court Bill without any fear for their lives. Though there was a lot of criticism of them, but there was no such fear of their lives. But could they do so for Muslim law codification without any such fear? Could they? Dr. Ambedkar called Hindus mean and Muslims cruel, but the left picked the word mean and Hindu, and they evaporated the Muslim and cruel word from their thesaurus. May I know why? Why Hindus are still mean, but Muslims have just ceased being cruel suddenly, when the world is going through the worst pandemic of Islamic terror since last 2 decades? This hypocrisy of the left and the pseudo-left we call Congress made the ruling dispensation invincible for years to come, no matter how unpleasant the ruling dispensation may become. Recent Delhi riot 2020 book controversy has just shown the smudged face of the self-proclaimed liberal authors who are not at all liberal, neither in letter nor in spirit. These authors are just a communist version of the same Abrahamic religious intolerance that the world witnessed since centuries, that believes that whatever is written in Torah, Quran, Bible, and now in the Communist Manifesto is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.